me once again, so that you too will understand. There's a ribbon in the sky. If you're wondering why I was playing a little bit of Stevie Wonder, everybody, that's because we have learned that Stevie will be among those performing today at Nipsey Hussle's services. And this again is Nick Smith coming to you live here at Fox 5 DC. I'm going to let you know that we plan to do coverage of the service. You know, I try to start each day with a little bit of music and let you know what's going on. So I just think that it's necessary that we recognize today is going to take a bit of a somber mood because of the circumstances at hand. And that is, of course, you know, celebrating the life of Nipsey Hussle. What I'm going to do right now, though, is I'm going to do what I always do, try to give you an idea of what's happening today, and I'm going to let viewers know that we plan to do a little bit of coverage. There are still a couple of things working in the background as far as how we plan to do it. There are a couple of networks that plan to stream, including our own, and I'm going to get that together here. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that we are all on the same page, and I want to make sure that I provide a link like you all have asked me to do, so that you're not trying to figure it out on your own and figure out where we are and what we're doing. So this is me figuring out. So I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to do this. So here I've tried to make sure that we are giving you the latest information that we have about everything that's happening, so that you can follow along and more or less know just exactly what's happening and why. I think everybody's just feeling a bit sad and not really sure on how to process it all. But right now, there are a couple of things just happening in the Los Angeles area. So once again, if you're just kind of joining me, I want to let you know what we are doing. I want people to know that, you know, we have found out that there is a list of the program this afternoon. Among the performers will be Stevie Wonder, which is why I'm playing a little bit of Ribbon in the Sky in the background. But some of the others we have since learned will be Marsha Ambrosius, Snoop Dogg, YG will be performing. As I mentioned, Stevie Wonder, which is why I'm playing Ribbon in the Sky. I just think that this is one of those songs that just continues to touch people. But again, this is as we talk about just the celebration of Nipsey Hussle. So just want to keep Stevie there in the background, letting you know what's going on. You know, you can always find the latest on both the coverage of what's happening with the services here at fox5dc.com. We will have a complete wrap-up of everything this evening. I want to let you know as soon as everything starts. I'm going to take you to it live, and we will continue the live coverage and everything on both our YouTube channel, all of our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Snap, Insta, everything. I'm just making sure that we've got everything set to go as we prepare, because I'm also interested in just making sure that on every platform, everyone knows what we're doing. So I'm going to keep a little Stevie going in the background there, and I'm going to pop up a picture of Nipsey, you know, as artist rendition talking about his life from August 13th, you know, 1985 to March 31st, 2019. And yeah, it's just where we are right now. So let's do that. And I'll be back with you. I'm not going anywhere. And you're wondering why, you're just kind of joining me, if you're wondering why I'm playing Stevie Wonder in the background there, it's because we have learned that Stevie Wonder will be among those performing tonight for Nipsey Hussle's celebration of life. Um, I've gotten a hold of some other information, just want to share with you. As soon as it begins, I will, of course, take you to it live. We've got it up. We are ready to go with what happens there. And of course, I appreciate you once again spending the next 20 minutes or so with me. I try to keep the YouTube professional, keep it moving, and keep it current with what's happening. And I have to say this is probably the biggest thing happening right now, and it's just because Nipsey meant so much to so many people. And as soon as it begins, we will see it live together. We have it here going. Nipsey Hussle's celebration of life is about to begin at the Staples Center. We will live stream, and it's expected to be a very emotional memorial service. We know that the rapper is being honored with a spectacular service in downtown LA. More than 21,000 people will turn out to pay their respects. There is a silver hearse carrying Nipsey's body, and it arrived earlier today outside the arena ahead of the ceremony. And I know I don't need to tell you this, but the free tickets to his memorial, they were hard to come by. You know, this week they were gobbled up within minutes after they were made available to California residents only. It's also a heavily guarded affair with a mix of LAPD, Nation of Islam, as well as Staples Center's own security. I did get a copy of the order of service, and while I'm waiting for this to begin, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that up so that you can see, so that you can see that order of service. I thought it was just really well done. It looks like it's going to be extremely, no way to describe it other than just an extremely classy affair and emotional. I personally can't think of anything I've seen like this at this scale since Michael, of course, Michael Jackson. And yeah, I think that just speaks to how people felt about Nipsey and his mission to do as much as he could for people in his community. It says a lot. So I want to share a little bit of that with you there, of what I have learned and what I have seen with this order of service. And of course, as soon as anything begins, I will take it live. But since I have you here with me, I just want to share with you what we were able to acquire here as far as the order of service for the service tonight. So I was playing for you a little bit earlier, Ribbon in the Sky, for that very reason, because I'm expecting it to be the song that, you know, Stevie does for Nipsey. And the order of service, the processional, the victory lap, which, as we know, will go past his shop, and we can see Minister Reed Rich, Pastor Shep Crawford, a selection of Frank Sinatra's My Way, a prayer by Shep Crawford. Marsha Ambrosius is doing Fly Like a Bird, acknowledgments and resolutions. Karen Civil, I'm not familiar with Karen Civil, but we do know that the Honorable Minister Farrakhan will also be speaking. We have a performance by Anthony Hamilton, Father Thomas Ewald, Janae Aiko, and we do know that, like I said, Stevie Wonder will be performing. So this is, again, the order of service that we were able to acquire a little bit earlier, just to give you an idea. The active pallbearers. And I've got a little more information here on my screen I'd like to try to share with you as I can, just as it comes in, because I don't think there's anyone who has not been kind of touched by what they are seeing today. Now, the service starts at 10 a.m. sharp and it runs through noon, and we're talking about 10 a.m. LA time. So I think what has us trying to figure out the next steps is simply, we are, of course, you know, past that time here for what it would be in LA. So I just want to make sure that we aren't missing anything with this as we just wait for them to take the services for Nipsey. Um, but the service is supposed to start at 10 a.m. sharp, runs through noon. Afterwards, a funeral procession will carry Nipsey's casket on a 25-mile trek through much of the city, stopping at important landmarks like his store and ending at the funeral home. Now, we will be streaming the procession on our Facebook page and everything, but since I had an opportunity to be here live with you, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss an opportunity to do that. I wanted to, if we had an opportunity to see what was happening now, I wanted to make sure that we were indeed a part of that. The procession is expected to pass by literally. I think I'm safe to say throngs of fans. It's supposed to give his supporters an opportunity to have Nipsey make one final victory lap through the neighborhoods and communities he fiercely supported. Nipsey's shocking death is prompting extraordinary developments in LA, a full peace treaty between several gangs who are putting down firearms. Dude, this is huge. I mean, come on, this is what we're talking about. This was his vision, and it is his vision realized, right? That people would come together, that people of color, that communities would come together and understand exactly what it is he was standing for. So as we told you, Nipsey was gunned down March 31st outside his store in Hyde Park in that part of LA. He died from those gunshot wounds to the head and torso and was pronounced dead about 35 minutes later. I'm keeping the screen grab up because as the procession starts, we will take it live and we will have it here on both our YouTube, Facebook, our social media. Will keep you directed to where you need to be. All you need to do is stay tuned in to fox5dc.com and we will definitely have it. That's on Insta, Twitter, whatever. But the idea is that we will have everything you need to know about what is happening. So I want to try to do one more thing here while I've got you, because as soon as it begins, I'm going to just jump on over there. But if I have an opportunity to take a couple of pictures from maybe locations that are there in the area that may be showing something that we don't know about or that I don't know about just yet. So I'm just doing a little bit of surfing around while we have that up, because what I do know is that as soon as anything happens, I will be notified. Our assignment desk, everyone is all over this now. Drivers they're telling everybody if you're in that area to just avoid it, because it's just going to be a bit of a mess. And that's simply because there really is just no plan to get around and be able to get around and away from that. We are being told that the service will start momentarily. And so once again, as soon as that begins, I will pipe down my music and let everybody see exactly what's happening there live. I want you to know that we're just trying to be as aware, alert, and respectful as possible. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to keep it going, because in addition to this morning's celebration of life, fans have been leaving messages, candles, and flowers in the parking lot outside Nipsey's store, and his family and friends. You know, they mourned him yesterday during a private viewing, so I'm not expecting family to be there at the same level, simply because they had an opportunity to do their private affairs and viewings, seeing him yesterday. Who also found out that Nipsey's armored truck with his All Money In record label logo is parked outside the Staples Center, and we'll be able to see that. It's also heavily guarded. The Staples Center, the truck is normally a fixture outside his Marathon clothing store, you know. So I just thought that was interesting too, that they tried to do as much as they could to honor and recognize Nipsey. And so that is, again, that's just beautiful. The drivers in that area, though, have been told, look, don't even come this way. It's that crazy that it's just it is that busy with traffic and people, and um, you're supposed to expect traffic delays and congestion more than normal in and around downtown Los Angeles, South Los Angeles, uh, ahead of his celebration of life. The celebration of life was supposed to begin at 10 a.m., so that should have been 1 o'clock for us here on the East Coast. Um, the doors opened this morning at 8 a.m., and cameras and recording devices were not allowed. So what we get here is exactly what is being transmitted. So I'm hoping people honor the wishes of organizers and possibly his family. I don't know that that request came from his family. I'm guessing it came from organizers and those close to Nipsey, that they're not, not in there taking selfies and taking pictures. And I have reason to believe that if those images start to pop up on social media, hey, uh, people are going to sound off and say, really, dude? Come on. This is not what the family wanted at all. So I'm just hoping that people respect that and recognize that, hey, this is not the time to do that. This is not what organizers or he or his family wanted. That, come on, you guys, let's just let's chill with that. So immediately following the service, 25.5-mile funeral procession will wind its way through Inglewood, which is South Los LA and that Watts area. If you're familiar with that, it's not too far from LAX, but all of that is pretty much the same area. Now, those rolling street closures, they will allow them to still navigate traffic fairly well and keep things moving while this is happening. Nipsey Hussle, a celebration of life, it was scheduled to begin like 1 o'clock East Coast time, 10 a.m. on the West Coast. So we're still waiting for that live feed to begin, but I did not want anyone who may have been tuning in to miss that opportunity to see it. Rolling street closures will be implemented along the funeral procession route, according to LAPD. This is what we're hearing. And the route will start in Exposition Park, going by USC, making its way by Hussle's childhood home. It's going to pass the Marathon clothing store where he was gunned down, Hussle's store, and the site of his murder, and the end of the and end at the funeral home. Now, Hussle, whose real name was Ermias Ashkdom, he will be buried at Forest Lawn Cemetery. Now, and this is now something that's coming over the wire. We're being told that it will begin shortly. As soon as it does, I will cut over to it, and we'll make sure that you can find a live stream on our Facebook page. You can, and I will retweet that, and I'll make sure to share that on social media, and we will make sure to push that out through fox5dc.com, where we are always on. So even if we're not broadcasting our news at that time, we make sure that everything is always on, meaning there will always be a place for you to find the information that you're looking for with us. We will make it a point to make sure that what you're looking for is there and available. So, Hussle, he was Grammy nominated. He was shot and killed in front of his clothing store on March 31st. His murder, this is now, I'm reading from an alert to let people know, those who may not be familiar, why this is going live and who he is. And it reads, and I'll read it as it has been presented. The 33-year-old Grammy-nominated rapper was shot and killed in front of his clothing store on March 31st. His murder sent shockwaves through the music industry and the South LA community, which he had been investing in the form of his clothing store, an apartment building for low-income families, and a barbershop. The day after he died, he had also been scheduled to meet with LAPD officials to discuss ways to end gang violence. A gang member, Eric Holder, has been charged with Hussle's murder. Police say Holder shot Hussle over a personal dispute. That is the official wire that I just received, just so that you know what it is that I'm reading from. And once again, for those who might be tuning in, what we're waiting for the celebration of life, Nipsey Hussle. I did receive an order of service that confirms many of Nipsey's celeb friends will be heavily involved, including Anthony Hamilton, Marsha Ambrosius, Snoop Dogg, Janae Kyle, YG, Stevie Wonder, Big Boy, Minister Farrakhan is also scheduled to speak during the ceremony. Nipsey's armored truck with his All Money In record label logo is parked right now outside Staples Center, and it's heavily guarded. The truck is usually sitting in front of his store. We have been told also that they've asked that there be no cameras or recording devices inside the services themselves. So um, I could do a double box. I don't want to do that because uh, I don't want to superimpose over this image in case some of you are watching that image. But I am going to bring myself up just so that you know who is this talking to me and why is he talking. But then I'm going to go right back because I am indeed keeping an eye on everything that's happening just to make sure that we don't miss anything. And part of that reason is because as I keep an eye on the monitors, we have a newsroom. Everyone is waiting for the service to begin. The service was supposed to begin at 10 a.m. on the East Coast. 10 a.m. West Coast time, 1 p.m. for us here on the East Coast. And as you can see, it has not started. But we will have full coverage of Nipsey Hussle on our Facebook page. I will make sure to tweet out a link to that. You can also find our link on Instagram. We will keep all of that going so that you know where to get that. As soon as it begins, we will take it live. So you don't have to worry about that. We will have it fully covered. Right now, I'm coming to you live from the Fox 5 DC newsroom. We have a team back at the assignment desk working to get the latest information about when this may actually start to stream. But one of the reasons I try to do the YouTube channel is to remind you that we're always on. You can find me at Nick Smith News on both Twitter and Instagram. And you can also email me at nick.smith@foxtv.com. But that's with any of our personalities. Every one of us is available through every social media platform. So feel free to engage and reach out at any time. I am right now just looking to keep an eye on the monitors to make sure that nothing is happening. We have a direct feed ready for the services. That direct feed will be taken live. This is the feed that everyone will get. The family asked that no one take recording devices inside the services, and I'm going to guess that most will hold that true. I believe that social media will definitely sound off if you start seeing pictures of selfies and all of that popping up inside the services. They've just asked, out of respect, that there be no recording devices inside. Nipsey Hussle's celebration of life is scheduled to begin outside the Staples Center, We will live stream what we expect to be an extremely emotional service. I think something may be happening. Let me get out of here. And as soon as it begins, I'm going to bring that up for you. And because I just got a warning, which lets us know that they are trying to adjust the video. So when they start color correcting and adjusting the video, that lets us know that they're about ready to begin. As soon as that is available, I will take it live. You don't have to worry about that, and we will also let you know where things are going live on our other platforms. As you know, the free tickets to his memorial service were extremely hard to get. They were like gone in seconds after they were made available. And they made them available only to California residents, which I thought was a smart move. You know, they tried their best to keep it local like he was. I understand that. I totally understand that move. The silver hearse carrying Nipsey's body arrived outside the arena earlier today ahead of the ceremony. And more than 21,000 people are expected to show up and turn out to pay their respects. I told you earlier about the order of service that I got, talking about Stevie and Marsha and Minister Farrakhan, and listed some of the people who are expected to be there. We know that security will be made up of members of the Nation of Islam, LAPD, and Staples Center has security of their own, so all of them will be working in conjunction to make sure that everyone there is not only in a safe environment to pay their respects, but that they are also adhering to the rules that were laid in place about no recording devices and things like that. We also know that something else to come out of this that we understand, we have learned that it's been reported through other outlets as well, is that there has been a truce with rival gangs. That, hey, while this is happening, nothing's going to go down. We're all going to respect what this is and how we can all come together as a community. And I just think that's beautiful, and it illustrates and highlights what he believed his vision could be. Once again, as soon as this begins, we will be streaming it live. I am waiting right now. We have our live feed set. We are ready to go. As soon as it goes hot, we will bring it to you. I just want you to see what it is that I am watching, and I wanted you to know who it was that was talking to you had you not joined me before. And I didn't want to superimpose myself over his image in case some of you are looking to save that, or just didn't want to see my bald head up there. I understand that. The service, again, was supposed to start at 10 a.m. sharp and run through noon. So it should be about a 2-hour service. It has not started yet. As soon as it begins, we will, of course, take that to you live on both here, and then I'll make sure to provide a stream to our Facebook page. We will be carrying it live. We'll be carrying it live for sure on our Facebook page as well. We have every intention on being there and keeping you informed and engaged. After the funeral procession, the casket will carry Nipsey's casket on a 25-mile trek through much of the city, and they're going to stop at important landmarks like his store, and they're going to end at the funeral home. Throngs of fans and supporters should be and probably will be lining the streets as Nipsey makes that final victory lap through the neighborhoods and communities he supported so fiercely. Nipsey's death is, like I told you, it's just prompting extraordinary developments in LA. A full peace treaty between several gangs, putting down firearms and showing unity to honor Nip. Gang leaders from Watts, Compton, LA, and Inglewood already marched for peace. As you know, Nipsey was gunned down on March 31st outside his clothing store in Hyde Park, and he died from those gunshot wounds to the head and torso, and he was pronounced about 35 minutes after being shot. Now, in addition to this morning's celebration of life, fans have also been leaving candles and flowers in the parking lot outside Nipsey's store, and his family and friends mourned him Wednesday afternoon during a private viewing. Officials are telling those in the area, you know what, stay away from this area. It's going to be a bit of a mess. And that's just real. So the toughest part, I think, for everyone is just recognizing that a young life is just gone so soon. And I think what bothers people also is the fact that that young life has gone so soon from someone who was so positive, trying to do so much, at the hands of the very community members he was working so hard with, that some just feel like it was a beef that did not have to happen that way. I have been kind of playing Stevie in the background because I know that Stevie will be there, and I don't know, Ribbon in the Sky is just beautiful. So I'm going to try to get an update and see what's happening, see if there's any more information from the ground about Nipsey, and I'll be back with you. But I'm going to throw his picture back up so that we can all, bow our heads and tip our hats to Nipsey one more time.
For this night I prayed that a Apparently they paid $30,000 for a Facebook system that can't control bars. And so when they put bars up on accident, they have a relaunch with that. And I'm saying, well, when is actually going to start? Because it has not started. It has not started.
We have received like word from LA that they just are not ready yet. That it just has not happened. So you're not missing anything. I am going to go ahead and sign out as soon as the services begin. We will, of course, take it live. You can catch me here Monday through Friday. Of course, you can find everything that's happening with us on our social media platforms across the board. I am at Nick Smith News on Twitter, at Nick Smith News on Instagram, and then you can always email me at nick.smith@foxtv.com. Again, this is a celebration of life for Nipsey Hussle. As soon as the services begin, we will indeed push out a live stream across all of our social media platforms. Just a somber day, that's all. Tell the people in your lives that you love them and hold them a little bit closer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for spending 30 minutes with me.